So perhaps the most common question I get asked about the SkyPod is what countertops do we use here? And if you're anything like us, the kitchen counter will be one of the most important decisions you will make for your own home, especially when you are the type like us to have breakfast here, to entertain guests here. You'll have coffee, you'll have red wine, and sometimes cooking with hot pans here on this surface. So these are a lot of things to consider, especially when you consider your kitchen to be the heart of the home. So in this video, we'll be talking about the most common types of countertops. Now there are a lot and there's more options coming out every year, but here in the Philippines, the most common ones I feel are the solid surface countertops, the granite countertops, marble, and quartz. And we'll be talking about them in terms of cost. Second, we'll talk about the look. Kung ano yung mga design na makikita natin from each item. Then we'll talk about the porosity. Porosity meaning if it absorbs water. Because if it absorbs water, it might not be as hygienic. Second, if it absorbs water, it can also most likely stain. Then we'll talk about the heat resistance, which is mga hot pans when we're cooking nearby. Anong mangyayari if maiinitan siya? And then we'll talk about the durability if mabilis siya mag-break, mag-crack, or ma-chip. If there are any ongoing maintenance that you might need for certain types of counters. So for the first one, we'll talk about solid surfaces. Now, solid surface is a plastic resin type na mukha siyang plastic. I don't know what it's really made of, but it is not heat resistant. I've seen solid surfaces wherein it melts when you're handling hot pans like this and nakalimutan, or yung may guest kayo or some other person in the house that leaves it on the counter and it's hot. What would happen is you'll get a mark that is discolored and a little bit dented. So for me personally, let's skip to the others because I don't really recommend this for the kitchen, but pwede siya for the bathroom area. Okay, so let's talk about marble. Now this is our marble table here at our living room area, and a lot of people actually think that marble is expensive, but there are fairly common marbles that can be affordable. And what we usually think of when we think about expensive marble are those that have like crazy grain patterns, crazy colors, sobrang ganda, and that would range up to, I've seen up to like 70,000 pesos per square meter. So it's like this big. Personally, I feel like marble is one of the best looking natural stone countertops that you could have. It has a lot of colors, it has a lot of designs, but the more expensive ones are actually really nice. But meron siyang malaking downside, and that is marble is porous. Itong mga grains niya that we actually see and love are actually micro cracks inside the stone. If you leave coffee here or red wine and then you forget to clean it right away, it will actually form those little rings around the bottom of the glass and it will seep into the marble and it would be very hard to get out. It is also susceptible to what is called etching. I think we have, an example here. These are small rings or like mga watermarks that you can see on usually marble tables because may mga acid na nagre-react against the marble surface. These are typical when you use mga juices, mga lemon juice, and then it reacts with the stone. But it is very heat resistant and it is fairly durable, although it is more prone to chip than granite and quartz. Sa maintenance side, marble needs a lot of maintenance. Again, because it is porous, it has to be sealed and resealed every few years. So that is something to think about if you want to keep your marble looking like new. So although I wouldn't suggest marble to be used in your kitchen countertop, especially a busy kitchen countertop, we use marble here around the house because of its look. And I think the perfect example of using it in less busy areas would be Chris's vanity. She has a marble countertop for her vanity and it looks absolutely beautiful. And now we have our TV console is made out of granite. This is a beautiful leather finish, so it's not shiny, it's matte. I really like it, but I feel like it would also make for a good kitchen counter. Now, when you talk about cost, granite is actually fairly affordable, and especially the white ones. The white or the black and white ones are cheaper, and the blacker you go, for some reason, it's more expensive. Now, you have to be careful with this because there are white granites that are stained black, and those will actually fade over time. So you have to trust your supplier when dealing with them. Now, when it comes to look of granite, there are so many different options out there. There's one that's almost pure white. There's what they call salt and pepper, so it's white, gray, black. Granite can actually also be very, very expensive if you're looking for the exotic ones, even more expensive than marble. But for us, this is a fairly common granite. It's not that expensive, but it's more expensive again than the white one. So I said that this would make for a good kitchen countertop because this is actually less porous than marble. So it's less prone to staining. It's still porous, but it's easier to seal. You can buy sealants and seal it yourself, and it is less prone to etching. Now, etching can still happen. The outdoor ones, there's actually a mark there because I left a bottle of pool chemical there overnight and I forgot about it. And it's also very heat resistant, so you don't have to be careful about mga hot pans on top of your granite counters. Although, when it comes to durability, marble, quartz, and granite, fairly equal in normal use case. For me personally, this would make a good option for a countertop. Which leads us to my personal favorite countertop, which is quartz. This one we have, it mimics marble, but quartz isn't actually a real stone. So this is made out of stone that is grounded, and then it's mixed together with glue, with resin to make this countertop. So this is actually man-made. Now, there are several different brands, but generally they perform similarly. The best part about this is that it is non-porous. It doesn't absorb anything. So it would be very sanitary. It doesn't seep into the stone. So walang mga germs that can hide in those nooks and crannies because of its porosity. And so far, this has been very much stain resistant. If we leave like coffee overnight, it has a little bit of stain that can be hard to get out just with soap and water. But what we do is that we put a little toothpaste, make it dry for like 5 minutes, and then when we wipe it, it comes off fairly clean. So this table doesn't have stains, even though this has been 2 years of non-stop abuse, like seriously abuse. This is also very, very heat resistant, but compared to marble and granite, this is a little less heat resistant because when the stone is mixed with those resins, if not of good quality, can actually stain or have a burn mark. It doesn't melt, but meron siyang burn mark. For us, however, it has been completely heat resistant. And this is a USA brand, and this was fairly expensive. If I were to rank marble, granite, and quartz, granite would be the cheapest option, marble next, and then quartz, at least here in the Philippines. That's what my experience tells me. Now, durability and maintenance is where quartz shine. Quartz is really, really hard. We haven't had any problems. It doesn't chip. And when it comes to maintenance, it does not require any sealing, any maintenance, any yearly thing that you have to do. So That is why we went with this. Chris actually wanted a marble countertop. So I told her it might not be the best, and we did some research and we settled with this one because it still kind of looks like marble, but with the durability and maintenance-free hassle of this. So if you're looking for a countertop for your kitchen, I would say Granite is the best bang for your buck. Marble looks the best but needs a lot of maintenance. And Quartz is my personal favorite because we don't have to maintain it, we don't have to think about it, especially when we have guests around. Ayaw natin na, oh, don't put that there, or don't drink there, or these little things that you have to be careful of. I didn't want that at all. So I feel like we made the right decision with going with Quartz for our home. I hope to have given you some input on choosing the best kitchen countertops for your home. And I hope that if this has helped you, please subscribe down below, and I'll see you later.